KMOX News.
Hello. Rob Carson filling in on News Radio 1120 KMOX. Imagine this, the honor system not working on the Metrolink system. Really? You know, have you ever tried the honor system with Halloween candy? Okay, children, Halloween, you leave the bowl in your house and you say, take one. How long is that going to last? They're doing this with freaking public transportation. Turnstiles, come on, man. Are you out of your nut? We'll get into that very shortly. We'll get into that very shortly on the show. It's public transportation. People are going to take advantage of it. Wake up, America. Come on. The honor system hasn't worked for us very much in the public transportation sector. Yeah, okay. Come on. Oh, hello. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff to get to on the radio program. Going to get into Sean Spicer's comments. He said that, even Nazi Germany didn't use chemical weapons, and then he realized, oh, yeah, Hitler did use it against the Jews at concentration camps. He had to clarify, but Nancy Pelosi, of course, is demanding his resignation, and there is a group called the Anne Frank Center, and they say that he needs to be removed. The Anne Frank Center for Mutual Respect is a phone number and a website. It is a major leftist group, anti-Trump group. They've been around, and to act like the Anne Frank Center is anything but a political leftist organization going after Donald Trump. You don't even know what you're talking about. I'm going to share some of the audio from that very shortly. But Nancy Pelosi, of course, is demanding that Sean Spicer resign. Your thoughts on that are welcome as well. We've been talking a lot about the first hour of the show. And by the way, my name is Rob Carson. If I haven't introduced myself, I do apologize because I know we have other people who fill in this time slot. You got this guy who was on a flight from Chicago to Louisville. His name is David Dow. He is a doctor. He has been identified as the victim of a viral video. He is in treatment at a Chicago hospital for his injuries because he decided to not leave the plane, even though he was asked, even though they finally had to come on, bring some authorities onto the plane and remove him. And then he screamed and shrieked like a little girl. And no, I won't even say that because I've got a little girl and my daughter wouldn't do this. She'd be like, okay, well, let's go ahead. I'm going to talk to my dad. We're going to go to the gate and we're going to decide that, if I'm going to sue you or not. This guy shrieked and cried. This guy, I had a caller earlier in the show, pardon the throat clearing. He said that he held on to his cell phone as he was being dragged off the plane unconscious. It is very easy to be a part of some sort of group mania with regard to authority, with regard to something like this. This wasn't a knee-jerk reaction. They didn't send jackbooted thugs onto the plane to remove this guy. And even like I said, I had mentioned earlier, good buddy of mine, very measured conservative, was acting like this is the reaction of United Airlines was completely off the hook. You wouldn't remove someone from Applebee's. You wouldn't remove someone from whatever. Well, the whole airline thing, you're on a plane, you're going to be flying through the air at 470 miles an hour, at 35,000 feet, pressurized cabin. You could die at any time. Maybe that's a little different than Applebee's. I don't know. Have you been to an Applebee's lately where you flew at, 37,000 feet at 450 miles an hour? I could be wrong. I haven't been to Applebee's in a while. Maybe things have changed. Maybe you sit down at your Applebee's table. They tell you the exits are here, 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 here. There's a flotation device under your booth there at Applebee's. Haven't been to Applebee's in a while. Here's what Jimmy Kimmel had to say, and of course, this is fodder for late night TV. They're not going to dig too much into it, and they're going to go for the low hanging fruit.
This is what CO tweeted. This is an upsetting event to all of us here at United. I apologize for having to reaccommodate these customers. He said reaccommodate. It's just like we reaccommodated El Chapo out of Mexico.
Okay.
That is such sanitized, say nothing, take no responsibility, corporate BS speak. I don't know how the guy who sent that tweet didn't vomit when he typed it out, but
okay, again, low-hanging fruit.
It's crazy. I mean, when you break this down, a man was forcibly dragged off a flight because they oversold it, which how that happens in the first place, I don't know. And by the way, they almost certainly could have gotten volunteers by offering more money or travel voucher. Maybe $800 wouldn't do them, but
well, by the way, United has a cap of $1,000.
Could have gone up to 1,000 or 5,000 or 100,000. Who cares? It's not the passenger.
No, because on a flight that size, the profit margin is not $100,000. You lose your ass at $100,000. It's much lower. Even on a much larger plane, the profit margin is going to be about, you got to make about 48. Well, it depends on the plane. Go ahead.
Fault if you sold too many seats on your plane. They bought. Can you imagine this happening in any other industry? I mean, imagine if this happened at Applebee's.
Yeah.
Imagine if you sit down, you order your 3-cheese chicken cavatappi or whatever. Fine. 20 minutes later, the waiter comes over and says, "Sorry, we have another party coming in. We need this chair." So either you can leave or we will make you leave. And you say, "I don't want to leave. I ordered my chicken."
It's kind of a non sequitur, but okay, I get it. For humor's sake, go ahead.
I want to eat. And he grabs you by the arm and throws you out. You'd never go to Applebee's again, right? But that's the thing. We don't do that with airlines. Next time we book a flight, it doesn't matter if it's United or Delta or American. If one of those flights is $1 less than the other one.
Okay, so I get it. I'm a pop culture guy. I write comedy. I get it. You go for the low-hanging fruit. But it's not a reasonable person who was on an airline flight. We are focusing on, he's a doctor. He had patients to see the next day. Have you ever been bumped by your doctor? Honestly, is every meeting you have with your doctor, is it a life-threatening situation? Do you ever have to sit in your waiting room for an hour and wait and wait and wait? Come on, man. Can we at least use common sense here? Don't act like this guy. He's a doctor, and you know. Apparently, you know what? I'm not going to. Here we go. Convicted of multiple felony drug charges in 2004. Okay, great. I don't know who dug that up. People are going to say, well, United Airlines dug that up. They dug up his past because they wanted to besmirch him. No. Maybe it was just the news media. Okay? Maybe the guy, and I'm going to mention it earlier, this is a doctor who goes back onto the plane after being removed and shrieking like a little girl and did this.
I have to go home. I have to go home. Just kill me. Just kill me. Kill me.
Okay, this is a doctor. This is your doctor. It's your gynecologist. I need to go home. I need to go home. I need to go home. Please kill me. Please kill me. Please kill me. Miss Anderson, you have an appointment with Dr. Whatever. I mean, I think maybe he's a little nuts. I could be wrong. Very easy to immediately go after the authorities. We see this all over the place in the country. Go after the authorities. It's kind of the cool thing. Go after the authorities. I'm not saying that we need to blindly trust the authorities on everything, but at the same time, it is kind of it's in vogue to go after the authorities. Those jackbooted thugs wanted to throw this poor man off the flight. You know, not really. Not really. And you know when Hollywood is lining up against you, there's a good chance that Hollywood's got to be wrong. Apparently this guy, John Cho, and I love the new, by the way, I love the new Star Trek movies. J.J. Abrams took over the franchise. They're fantastic. There was the first one, really cool. Really, did you see it? Had Captain Kirk as a kid. driving his dad's 65, Corvette, escaping the authorities, lets it fly off a cliff. Beastie Boys are playing. It's a really cool movie. Then you got the Wrath of Khan. They didn't call it the Wrath of Khan, but it was the Wrath of Khan. Ricardo Montalban was not there. Great movies, right? John Cho says, it's not hard to see the connection between the environment Trump has created and what happened on that United flight. So he's blaming Donald Trump for it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Insert line about small bag of nuts here. Because, a lot of times on flights they give you a small bag of nuts. Anyway, I think the whole thing is it's very easy to join in with the fray and say it's corporate America. And I know what you're going to tell me. You're one of them right-leaning corporate stooges. No, not really. I just got fired by a very major broadcast corporation that his stock is about 27 cents a share. Anyway, so I'm not a corporate stooge. But the more I digest this, and your thoughts are welcome at 314-436-7900, 1-800-925-1120. And by the way, the company that I worked for, my removal from the company was not quite that bad, but pretty close. I mean, not forcibly removed, just told to come back after everybody's gone and pick your stuff up. And I said, no, I don't keep stuff here because, this is radio. We get some more audio here I want to get to. Let's talk about one of the witnesses. It's this dude who was like totally on the plane and was totally upset that this doctor was totally removed. David Dow. It's just not fair. It's totally not fair.
Back with 4 slips with the seat number and name, and started going to those seats and just basically tell them we chose you. You got to get off the plane. And so they approached this doctor, told him to get off the plane, and he refused because he had work the next day. He's a medical doctor here in Louisville.
So you could hear some of.
He's talking to Jade Tapper, and again, I've got patience. I have patience to get to tomorrow. You know what? Like I said, have you been in any doctor's office lately where you wait for an hour? You never. Now, listen, honestly, don't want to rip on doctors. God bless you if you're a doctor. It's fantastic. But when was the last time you went to a doctor's office? Your appointment is at 12:30, and you freaking got to see the doctor at 12:30. All right, really? Are they? Well, maybe they should start removing you from the waiting room.
The conversation, and he was saying he couldn't do it because he's a doctor. He had patients to see the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
Every doctor has patients to see the next day, by the way.
He was very emphatic. I can't be late. I'm a doctor. I got to be there tomorrow. In fact, actually, he volunteered. Him and his wife, they volunteered initially for a second, but once they found out that the next flight wasn't until today at 2:30 p.m., he said, I can't do that. I got to be at work. So he sat back down.
Doctor sounds a little OCD. I'm just saying. Sounds a little OCD. Like I said, when you go back onto the plane and you say this.
I have to go home. Just kill me.
It's kind of like saying, I got to get home to Wapner. I got to watch Wapner. I got to go to Kmart. I got to buy my underwear. You know what I'm saying? Your thoughts are welcome. 314-436-7900. We are late for the break. My producer, Mike, God bless you. I'm sorry. 800-925-1120. I am Rob Carson on News Radio 1120 Rob Carson filling in on News Radio 1120 KMOX. Fly United, everybody.
Come bleed with me. United is insane. If you can use a big fat bruise, then refuse to leave the plane. Come bleed with me. Next time I'll take a train.
Sure.
When you fly United, they will drag you down the aisle. That's their style. should go to trial when you fly United. They might punch you in the face or use mace. Real disgrace they won't own up to. PR-wise, United's really screwed.
Come on.
When they drag that poor man off, all the passengers just booed. Wouldn't be a shocker if their butts got sued. Come bleed with me. They're nasty and they're rude.
All right, so I don't agree with the song parody. I think it's funny, by the way.
Hey, Oscar, we accommodate this.
All right, so my buddy Jim Gossett put that together. I love good satire because I write it. I don't agree with this. Sorry, I don't. I don't. You're talking about an airline. And listen, flying, and this is an easy target, flying sucks. If you are not Rush Limbaugh and have a private jet, if you are not Kanye West and have a private jet, if you are not Hillary Clinton and have a private jet, if you are not able to afford first class, I have flown first class. Glorious. Nobody in first class asked to leave. Never. Doesn't happen, right? But a flight is overbooked. We added the element of United employees needed to be on the plane. 4 people asked, hey, here's the deal. We overbooked for a reason, blah, blah, blah. We need you to leave. David Dow is this guy who decides that he doesn't want to leave the plane. And okay, sure, I know it's an inconvenience. Here he is reacting, though. This is a doctor of medicine, by the way. A doctor of medicine reacting.
Oh, my God.
Again, do you want your gyno to react like that? Do you know, this is the guy, we have to have you leave the plane. We'll give you $800 and an overnight hotel stay. You know, can I just reschedule the prostate exam? And then he gets back on the plane a few minutes later.
I have to go home. Just kill me.
Okay, I have to go home. Please kill me. Turn your head and cough. No, you know what? I'm going to reschedule. I'll be back. Not feeling so good about this. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of mania associated with attacking the airline for this. I don't like them overbooking. I don't like this crap. I don't like being bumped. Every time I'm in the, waiting for my plane, I get asked. I hear this over there. We overbooked. Will you please consider staying overnight? We'll pay $400. We'll send some very attractive masseuses to your room, and we will also include free pizza. See, I'm tempted every time. We're going to take a break. I'm told by my producer, Mike. We don't have time for Bill. Bill, will you hold on? Will you hold on? We will get to your calls on this. Is United evil, beating a poor man, a doctor, removing him from a plane? He was going to save lives. People probably died because of this. 314-436-7900, 1-800-925-1120. Back with your calls and more on the way on KMOX. Weather. Hello, it's Rob Carson once again filling in on News Radio 1120 KMOX talking about, we spent a lot of time talking about this doctor pulled from a flight from Chicago to Louisville. David Dow, he is a Elizabethtown, Kentucky doctor. He was removed from the flight. He was asked to leave. 3 other people were asked to leave. I didn't realize that 48,000 people a year are involuntarily asked to leave flights. And, listen, I don't have a private jet, okay? I don't have, I'm not on first class, all right? And consequently, I hear people being asked every flight, right? Almost every flight you fly, they say we're overbooked. Well, you can say what, consider whatever. This is kind of an off-topic subject, but a few years ago, my wife and my children, we were going to go see my mom. We were flying out of Reagan National. You were supposed to be there, I don't know, whatever amount of time before the flight, and there was black ice on the highway, and the highway was closed, and we got there. And we pulled up to the gate, and we walked up to the gate, and I watched our freaking luggage going to the plane. And they said, you weren't here in time. I said, my luggage is going on the freaking plane. Ruined our Christmas with the family because we didn't make it in time. So I understand that the airlines can be fairly intolerant at times. This case, though, I mean, come on. This man was asked to leave, and it sucks. The flight is overbooked. I have a little bit from a TED Talk with regard to overbooking flights. I don't want to, if this becomes a little bit too into the weeds, then I'll stop it. But these are the reasons that airlines overbook flights, and it sucks. It really sucks. These are the things that we pay for when we fly through the air at 1/3 the speed of sound, or actually 2/3 the speed of sound, to fly across the country in a mode of transportation that otherwise would have taken months and resulted in the death of half of the people in your party.
While often infuriating for the customer, overbooking happens because it increases profits while also letting businesses optimize their resources. They know that not everyone will show up to their appointments, reservations, and flights.
Who doesn't show up for their flights? I understand hotel rooms, but who doesn't show up for their flights?
So they make more available than they actually have to offer. Airlines are the classical example.
Okay.
Partially because it happens so often.
Yes.
About 50,000 people get bumped off their flights each year.
Gotcha.
That figure comes at little surprise to the airlines themselves, which use statistics to determine exactly how many tickets to sell.
Gotcha.
It's a delicate operation. Sell too few, and they're wasting seats. Sell too many, and they pay penalties.
Okay. Maybe an idea is, if you don't frickin' show up for your flight, you get charged for it anyway. Maybe. I know things happen, but you give people a heads up. There have been times with my dog's vet. If I don't show up for the dog's vet appointment, I'm going to get charged for the damned appointment. It happens. All right. How about if you're not able to make your flight, you give them a little heads up, or you get charged for it.
Airlines have collected years' worth of information about who does and doesn't show up for certain flights.
Yeah.
They know, for example, that on a particular route, the probability that each individual customer will show up on time is 90%.
90% people will show up on time. Okay.
For the sake of simplicity, we'll assume that every customer is traveling individually rather than as families or groups. Then, if there are 180 seats on the plane and they sell 180 tickets, the most...
Okay, this is going to get in the weeds, so I'm not going to go there. It's going to get all wordy and everything. I saw this earlier today, and basically, the reason why airlines overbook flights is because they know that 15% of the time or whatever percent of the time, people are not going to show up. And then occasionally, people are responsible, and they show up. And then they're screwed. And then you're asked, we need some people to consider waiting over. So I guess I don't, maybe if I'm wrong, please correct me. I think it sounds like, I don't know. There are no other businesses that overbook and bump people. Although I've heard there are some like hotels possibly. But there are also no other industries where people fly through the air at 2/3 the speed of sound at 35,000 feet at 400, whatever miles an hour. So I don't know. Your thoughts. CNN talked a little bit about this. Why you could be bumped from your flight.
I can think of 100 ways they could have resolved this without having it come to this, right?
Sure,
and I'm sure that they're gaming this, and in their investigation,
If you say no, are they allowed to manhandle you and drag you down the aisle?
In the contract, it
They wouldn't have had to if you just said, hey, let's go talk about this.
does not say manhandling per se, but it says they reserve the right to eject you from that plane. It is their right. And there are some airlines that don't do this. JetBlue does not.
I would assume also if you are in a limousine and you've been drinking and you're being a douche, you can be evicted too.
Overbook planes, but most of the airlines overbook the planes so that when that plane flies, there's a body in the seat, either a crew member that's getting to a connecting flight so they can make money, or a paying passenger.
Again, this is a company that's making money. They have a certain number of seats. You have a contract with them. I get it. But at the same time, there are some exceptions to be made. You do not have the right to that seat. You don't own that seat. You are contractually, you have the seat for a period of time. And occasionally there are times you need to be moved. To me, and I'm reverting back to this earlier, I think the doctor's reaction to this should speak very loudly to the man's character, what he's all about. We immediately look at him as some sort of a victim. But here's a man. Let me ask you this, guys. You're in the seat. The airlines have a protocol. If the plane is overbooked, and the reason why they're reacting is because a lot of people are irresponsible when it comes to flying. 10% don't show up for the damn flight. So now they have to go, okay, guys, we've got this thing. We fill this thing up with very expensive fuel. We fly at 2/3 the speed of sound across the country. We have to land here. We are subject to weather. We are subject to all this other crap. We occasionally get overbooked because of whatever. We ask people, hey, here's the deal. We don't have enough room here. So we're going to give you $800 if you stay overnight. You broach 4 people. After going through, no handicapped people, no military members, all of these things, and we go to the person who you think, statistically, who could most likely endure the possibility of a delay. 3 people get off, 4 people asked to leave, and this guy freaks out. Is it United's problem? 314-436-7900, 1-800-925-1120. My name is Rob Carson. You are listening to News Radio 1120. I know you think I'm evil because I'm taking the side of United Airlines with regard to this guy being asked to leave a plane, David Dow. He's a doctor. He's a doctor, not a scientist. He was removed from a plane after being asked to leave the plane. He went a little bonkers, even though people are not willing to admit that he went a little bonkers, all right? Here he is being dragged. Now, okay, I'm going to say this again. United Airlines, they have a metric, and many do. There are a lot of metrics with regard to flying in the country, all right? There are, here we go. Standard practice for airlines to sell more tickets than there are seats. Carriers calculate how much wiggle room they have based on past stats and track no-shows and offer passengers vouchers if flights end up too full. No 2 airlines have the same approach. Okay? All right, so there you go. There are 2 scenarios. There are also scenarios in which the plane may be too heavy, in case you're tubby, and air marshal needs to board the flight, or flight staff have to get to work. Okay, so there you go. This apparently is on the ticket. when you sign, come on. Have you seen what happens when you sign a contract with your cell phone company? I think firstborn. It's weird because I thought I had another son. I've got a son and I've got a daughter. I swear to God my wife was pregnant in the early 90s. But I signed a phone contract, so I'm not sure. Anyway, that's what happens. There are also scenarios in which a plane maybe... Yeah, I started that. Okay. But in the case of the United flight, 4 crew members needed to board the United flight, operated by regional partner Republic Airlines, in order to work another flight in Louisville the following day. Or else that flight would be canceled. And then you got the snowball effect, right? Okay. So experts agree that what United is dealing with is not par for the course. For one, the back and forth usually happens at the gate. I get it, not on the plane. All right? Kind of unusual. When the flight is overbooked, federal rules require that airlines first check to see if anyone will give up his seat voluntarily, according to the Department of Transportation. And that's what happens at the gate. That's what happens at the gate. When you're there, that's when they ask you. And as much as I love my wife, if you offer me $800 in a free hotel room and I won't see you until tomorrow morning, there are days. Yeah, there are days. If airlines can't get passengers to switch of their own volition, they're allowed to bump flyers involuntarily. 46,000 flyers in 2015 were involuntarily bumped from flights. All right? The terms are sketched out in contracts of carriage that passengers agree to when they buy their tickets. Yeah, when you buy your tickets. I realize it's a very small thing to buy an airline ticket compared to buying a house. But if you set through what you have to get through, have you even applied for a credit card? Again, I may have had another firstborn just for the MasterCard that I have with a low interest rate. When airlines must involuntarily bump, there are rules to follow. Passengers must get to their final destination within 1 hour, or carriers have to start coughing up money. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right. If flyers get to their final destination 1 or 2 hours late, airlines are required to pay double the original one-way fare with a $675 limit. If flyers get in more than 2 hours late, airlines have to pay 400% or the one-way fare up to $1,350 limit. Now, if this doctor were carrying a kidney in a cooler that needed to get to whatever, I could see why he would freak out like a little girl. I could see that. I could see that. Why he would do this. Yeah. I've got a heart in this cooler, and there's a kidney over here, and if I don't get there, then whatever. He didn't. He had some appointments he had to do tomorrow, and then he runs back on the plane and does this.
I have to go home. 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 Just kill me. Just kill me. Kill me. Just kill me.
I have to go home. I have to go home. I have to go home. Please kill me. Please kill me. Please kill me. Again. No, he said, please kill me. Please kill me. No, he isn't. Here you go.
Just kill me. Just kill me. Kill me. Just kill me. I have to go home.
It's not excuse me. I will disagree with my producer, Ben. Every source that I've got to says, please kill me. Please kill me. Not excuse me. We may disagree. And guy's a Chinese guy. Could be lost in translation. Could be lost in translation. But anyway, I worry about this man's stability on the plane, that he would react as a doctor of medicine to the shrieking that he did. I don't think it sounds like a rational human being. There are a lot of things that, if we're bumped from a flight, very rarely do we have to be there at exactly 8:25 in the morning, 8:25 in the morning, 8:25 in the morning. I have to be at 8:25 in the morning, unless you have a kidney in a cooler and you are going to be landing at an airport with a helicopter greeting you there. All right? Sorry. I think, and listen, I have thought this through thoroughly. I have heard some very respected men in my field and women in my field who feel like the airline really screwed this guy over. And by gosh, they ought to, this guy needs to sue, including Judge Andrew Napolitano, who I respect greatly. However, I'm going to have to disagree. This sounds like this guy, little unhinged. We don't see when he was approached by the police officers who were brought on the plane. And I don't think the first response for an airline is to bring police officers onto the plane. Come in and kick this guy's ass real quick. No. Sir, we need you to leave. 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 Then they bring officers onto the plane, and then he reacts in that fashion. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to move on to other stuff because you know what? Let's just thank God for Jay Giles, because the founder of the Jay Giles Band passed away today. If you are a child of the 80s, you know what I'm talking about. We will share some of that bumper music. We've got plenty of other stuff, local stuff on the way. Stick around, guys. 314-436-7900, 1-800-925-1120. I'm Rob Carson on KMOX.